When I was getting started, Andy Elliott told me, Tyler, this season of your life is not about making a bunch of money. It's about building your reputation and building your name. And it was one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got, because I didn't realize that I was setting this groundwork for who I was gonna be for the next 3, 5, 10 years in this space. And I tell the stories about what I did to get off the ground at new agents all the time, because I did it. Like, I started with no money. I started with age leads. I moved into fresh leads. I made calls all day long. I was writing $30, $40, $50, $60, $70,000 a month in issue paid business over and over and over and over again. And I had the skill and I knew how to do it at a really high level, so I could teach others how to do it. So you want to start to build your name. Like, you got to start to build your reputation. A players want to work with A players. And so if you're like writing 10 grand a month and you're like, I'm going to build the next giant organization, it's like you may like bring some people on, but like, you know, the law of the leader, the law of the lid, like, you are what's going to hold your business back. And like, you need to be able to get above where you're at now, and that starts with your personal production. So go write a ton of business, go stand out. Like, you never know who's watching you, and so you want to go lead from the front and be an example for people. This next piece is so important and something that a lot of people don't share with you when you're going through this building phase. And so you go from new top sales rep, you're starting to write some business, now you're transitioning into being a builder. Like, let me explain something to you. If you want to build an agency, it's more about caring about people than it is like profitability. And especially at the beginning, like, well, you might be spending a bunch of time with people and they might not be writing business. And like, you just gotta still do it anyway. And like, there's this phase when you're building where like, you might be recruiting unlicensed agents, licensed agents, onboarding people, training people, doing one-on-ones, and you're making 0 overrides. And like, there's actually a long stretch where you're not making a lot of money from it, you're not making any money from it, because you're putting in so much effort on the front end, and it hasn't, like, you're planting all these seeds and they haven't like blossomed yet. And so for you as a new builder, you gotta understand, you gotta take you out of the picture, even if financially, like, it doesn't really add up at the beginning, because to develop people, like, they only care about how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And so they will listen to you if you care about them. You gotta be supportive, you gotta build people up, you gotta train people, spend time with people. People want your time as a leader. So the building part of it, as you transition into that, it starts to become more about like, hey, how can I be there for people? I need to give time to people. And like, yeah, you wanna have systems and structures, but if you just throw a bunch of people into our CRM and like tell them to watch a bunch of videos, like, they ain't staying. They're not loyal to you. Like, people will be like loyal to the people that take care of them. So you want to be taking care of people. You want to be there for people, not just throwing people into a CRM. Like, you gotta be building relationships with people. And so as a builder, the only ones that last long-term in this industry are the ones that actually care about their people. Because if not, your people will go somewhere else. Like, there are other options, there are other places to go. So you have to build relationships with people and make this the right home for them. And then finally, as you move up this ladder and you start to build an agency and you're giving out all your time, then you can start to implement some systems to make things easier. Like, I have 3 people who work for me. I have an onboarding contracting admin. I have somebody who does all of our marketing and a bunch of other stuff like on the back end. And then like people who call carriers for me and stuff like that. That's what those people do. And then I have a dialer. So someone who's calling and setting up appointments for me. And so after you get going, you can start to scale out some of the things that you don't need to be doing. And then especially like onboarding and contracting, you start to put some systems in place for that stuff. Reminders, like, you know, you can build a training center. Like, I have a training center with all of the information for all my agents when they come on board. They just go watch all the information in the training center to get a super clear idea, set a really clear expectation of everything they're gonna need to know. Like, you could probably charge for that thing, but no, we give it to all of our agents for free. Recorded sales, closings, like leads, you know, systems to win, schedule to win, the numbers behind the business, everything that you're gonna need to know about how to win. And so that was all put in after I had the volume of people and I started to not be able to handle it. And then I was actually getting paid for my overrides, and it took me time to get there, right? Because at the beginning, my personal was my only thing I was making money from, and you've got to like, you're like building a bridge and you like are not getting paid for it. And then like once the bridge is finally complete, then like, you know, people can drive across it. It's kind of a bad analogy, but you've got to go through that phase where there are no systems and you're just bashing your head against the wall, unless your mentor has the systems. Like, you know, people on my team, they just use all my systems. That's a little bit different, but like if you don't have the systems, you got to build the systems. Like it's going to be a lot of extra work, but you got to be willing to go through that to take care of the people that you have.